call the meeting of the village board to order at 7:31 p.m. All the trustees are here except for trustee Warren, who's been excused. Has this meeting been publicly noticed?
The meeting has been properly noticed and posted according to law.
All right, thank you very much. And thank you for everyone for being here. And I thank you for your time, talent, and patience in advance as we conduct business. We will move on to special orders of business, of which we have 3 this evening. 4A, presentation of Shorewood Safe Streets and Roads for All Municipal Safety Action Plan, coming to us by John Campbell. And I will just call your attention to the nice glossy plan that we have. And if you open it up, you'll see a big picture of me. So
Wow,
I know.
impressive.
Yeah. So at this point, I will turn it over to Mr. Campbell.
All right. And I'll bring it nice and close. The PowerPoint presentation, will that get shown up on that screen?
Yes, I believe so.
All right, so I have a PowerPoint to show, and
Okay.
thanks for having me here today. Just being able to work with Bart and Leanne and go throughout Shorewood. It's an amazing community with lots of pedestrians and bicyclists, and that's something that's going to be forefront on safety and a safety action plan. So I'm here to present the municipal safety action plan for the village of Shorewood. It was developed in partnership with Milwaukee County and funded by the U.S. Department of Transportation through a grant, and Milwaukee County made up the local match. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they printed. They look great. Oh boy. Is there a clicker? Because I have a couple animation.
oh.
I'll just wave to you.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
That sounds good.
Okay.
He goes, slideshow play. Kidding.
All the way to your left? I don't think so. Sorry.
All right, let's test this out. Cool. So my name's John Campbell. I was the project manager for developing this plan. I work for company Taddy. We're based in Cedarburg. We work mostly in Wisconsin, but throughout the Midwest, and traffic and safety are our specialties. But overall, this plan was developed by a large collaborative effort between Milwaukee County DOT, local municipalities, multiple agencies, and consultants. So we had so much great experience to be able to put into these plans. The purpose of this plan is pretty simple. It's to be a toolkit for the village of Shorewood to eliminate serious injuries and fatalities on the roadways in Shorewood. But to give you a little background, Milwaukee County has formally adopted a Vision Zero policy to eliminate serious injuries and fatalities by 2037. Milwaukee County is urging and wants municipalities in the county to share in that initiative and ideally adopt a goal for their own communities. The city of Milwaukee, the city of Wauwatosa, Greenfield, and West Allis so far have adopted their own Vision Zero plans by 2037. But through the Safe Streets and Roads for All grant program, Milwaukee County had secured over $1 million in planning funds to not only develop a plan for Milwaukee County, but also develop plans for each of the 19 municipalities throughout the. Over the past few years, you've probably been hearing a lot about safety, Milwaukee County demonstration activities, Vision Zero. So let me kind of frame this conversation so you know what we're talking about here today. the big picture is Milwaukee County initiated a complete communities project in 2023, and it had 3 phases. Phase 1 was a countywide assessment that had engagement activities, safety analysis. You might even recall Jeff Spazia spoke to this board in June of 2023 about phase 1. Phase 2 was the development of the Milwaukee County countywide safety action plan. And then phase 3, which we're talking about tonight, is the safety action plan developed specifically for municipalities. So as I had mentioned, Milwaukee County has a goal of 0 serious injuries and fatalities by 2037. They recognize that it's going to take a multifaceted approach to do that. Going to need to include an engineering enforcement engagement and education. But addressing multimodal safety and reckless driving were some paramount pillars of their plan. And you might ask yourself, like, is it realistic to have injuries and fatalities by 2037? And I think that's a valid question. There's definitely a lot of variables in play, but I can tell you cities in the United States are getting close to that goal. Hoboken, New Jersey is a very active city of 60,000 people that hasn't had a death on their roads in 8 years. And they're continuing to see a decrease in their serious injuries. This is where it's going to get complicated on this side, but so how can Vision Zero be achieved? The best practice currently using what's called the safe system approach, and there's a few principles of it that death and serious injuries are unacceptable. Humans are vulnerable. Humans make mistakes, and redundancy is crucial. And then there's 5, I'd like to call them pie pieces: safer vehicles, safer speed, safer roads, better post-crash care, and safer people. I'll just give you a quick example to kind of illustrate how this system works. Let's say you have a 12-year-old riding a bicycle at night without a helmet, struck by a vehicle 39 miles per hour. Boy is severely injured. EMS comes, but they don't have the equipment to treat him there, nor does the local hospital. By the time transport is arranged to get him to a hospital that can treat him for his injuries, he passes. But if you take a look at it, just a kind of a generic example like that, and walk it through the safe system. Well, for safer vehicles, did the vehicle have automatic braking? A lot of vehicles today have automatic braking when it senses a pedestrian or bicyclist. Is the front of the vehicle designed to better accommodate pedestrians, bicyclists in a crash? Large SUVs, a very high grille can be almost instantly fatal for especially younger people. The vehicle safer speeds was going 39 miles per hour. Was that an appropriate speed for the road? Could there have been, especially considering that there's a bicyclist on it, traffic calming, lower speed limits, more enforcement are potential options. Was the roadway adequately lit? So then we're talking about safer roads. Could there have been better signing, pavement marking? And then regarding post-crash care, did the local EMS or local hospital been better equipped to handle that particular injury? And then lastly, safer people. Could the boy have been wearing a helmet or had a light on his bike at night? So I like to kind of envision this as a pie. And this is an analogy I got from Andy Bill at the UW Tops Lab, so I don't want to take credit for it. But what we're striving to do with the safe system approach is to build up each piece of that pie so thick and gooey with blueberries that when you have a failure, you take one piece of pie out, the others compensate for it. It's gooey. So, and in that situation with that 12-year-old, there could have been multiple strengths added to that safe system that could help that person's life. So,
Next level. PowerPoints.
Definitely.
I've been using that a while now, but that took some.
I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, that was pre-chat GPT help on PowerPoint. So, okay, and next slide then. And then, so I'm going to walk you through the plan. I'm going to try to go quick, but we can go over questions after I'm done. But there's really three main components of the plan. There's safety analysis. 2 is a community engagement part, which we've been referring to as a complete communities in a box. And then 3, a priority action steps. And in totality, we really want you to look at it as a practical toolkit, this plan. It's not a list of mandates or things that must be done, but it's a toolkit for you to use moving forward. As far as just a quick snapshot of the crash history in Shorewood, in the 5 years we analyzed in this study, there were 2 fatal crashes, 14 serious injury crashes. That's the exact type of crashes we're trying to eliminate. A positive is when you look at Shorewood's crash history compared to statewide averages per population, we're about half statewide average serious injuries and fatalities per 10,000. So a lot of good progress has been done. Now it's about putting the finishing touches on. And then by mode, you obviously have a very active community with pedestrian bicyclists. That shows up. A lot of the roadways throughout Shorewood are fairly low speed. Capitol Drive, Lake Drive, you get higher volumes and sometimes higher speeds. And that's where we're seeing majority of those serious crashes. 6 involved pedestrian, 1 bicyclist or vehicle only. And we had some screening criteria to use to identify corridors of concern. Capitol Drive, which is State Highway 190, Lake Drive, State 32, showed up on the countywide screening tool, corridor of concern, and a large section of Oakland Avenue throughout Shorewood popped up as corridor of concern for municipal level analysis. So what is a meeting in a box? So in each of the 19 municipal safety action plans, there's a broad community engagement toolkit. It's really meant to be just a useful resource for conducting public engagement. You'll find it in Appendix A. It has tips for planning and hosting public meetings and public engagement events. And one thing I really like about it is that it has a toolkit of different improvement options from an infrastructure engineering perspective, different traffic calming and safety improvements. Lists information about those. So you'll find that in Appendix A of the report. And then we have our safety priority action items. And these were developed in collaboration and discussions with village engineering and planning staff of some important things to take a look at where we could put our efforts toward in developing this plan. 5 buttons, you can go through them quick though. Automated enforcement policy analysis, school zone safety toolkit, enhance public engagement strategies, policy guidance for e-scooters and sidewalk biking, grant strategy, funding guidance. So I'll start with the automated enforcement policy analysis. Shorewood's already on the forefront of this and has taken action to support Senate Bill 375/AB 371, which would enable a 5-year automated enforcement program in the city of Milwaukee. The latest update on the bill is it currently resides in the Senate Transportation and Local Government Committee. So it's still out there. From what I've seen at different conferences and in conversations, it has had more momentum than past bills like this. So in the plan, there's some more information about automated enforcement and some potential interim strategies Shorewood might want to consider. The next is a school zone safety toolkit. And this is really neat. This is a custom-made school zone safety toolkit. You'll find it mostly in Appendix B of the report, but knowing how much pedestrian and bicycle traffic there is in Shorewood, and how the schools are so good, and it's just such a high priority. So it's important to be proactive about school zone safety. And what's nice about this plan is it lays out a step-by-step roadmap for evaluating and improving school zone safety that can be led by volunteers, committees, parents, different organizations. It doesn't have to necessarily be run from village staff or law enforcement or school staff. So this has been designed in a way, and we'd encourage Shorewood to solicit or try to find some leaders in the community that would be willing to take on this effort. The plans laid out the different steps that you would take from assessing current conditions to how you could fund and scale improvement. Building on that community in a box resource, we dug deeper into the engagement to give Shorewood some specific education topics, supplies that could be needed to help promote traffic safety in the community, like a pop-up tent, handouts of, reflective slap bracelets or other things promoting traffic safety. We list various engagement options based on community events in the community. And those, there's some good templates provided in Appendix C. And then we're really on the frontier with policies for e-scooters and e-bikes, right? And e-bikes have definitely thrown a wrinkle into existing bicycle policies, because traditional bicycle policies were designed for traditional bicycles, ones that weren't going 30 miles per hour on sidewalks. So to give you some resources about making decisions with future policies, we summarize some case studies in nearby communities, what they're currently doing for these policies, what bigger cities, Milwaukee, Madison, are doing, and then some best practices nationally. We also outline some infrastructure enforcement and education options. And then our last priority action item was summarizing funding and grant programs. And in this table that's provided in the report, we hope that's just going to serve as a resource. When you decide you want to move forward with an action, we'd want you to check this table and see if there's some funding options. Might be able to fund it. And then as far as actionable next steps, there were three main things we pointed out in the recommendations of the report that we think you could take action on. The first would be, I think, try to find a citizen group or leadership group to organize and perform those actions in the school zone safety toolkit. And that could be done as soon as spring of 2026. I mean, there's no reason to particularly wait. Next, consider investing local funds. We have less than $10,000 annually to create an enhanced public engagement strategy. It's gathering the resources to have the materials, be able to send leaders, volunteers, but also at times local staff out to community events to help with things. And then lastly, consider applying for additional SS4A funding in spring of 2026. That's the same program that this was funded through, to do additional pilot projects or creating a more robust strategy for engagement. And then the other, actionable items that, and it might not be specifically outlined, but, I would definitely suggest continuing to collaborate with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. There's 2 state highways that run through Shorewood. and, you know, look for opportunities to be proactive especially on a corridor like Oakland Avenue that's high traffic and has a history of some severe crashes. All right, we're on our last slide, and here are, I guess, the ask. Our ask is that you accept this municipal safety action plan for Shorewood and move forward using it as a resource. Number two, we ask that you consider implementing recommendations found throughout the plan as you see fit. And then three, it would be consider joining Milwaukee County's Vision Zero initiative. And by joining, I mean creating your own Vision Zero policy or bill that would be enacted by your community. And that sums up what I came here to discuss. And how'd I do it? Oh, I ran a little late. I'm sorry. I get talking about state.
Really fun.
Well,
I'm
thank
happy to
you.
answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you very much. And it didn't show up in the plan, but we do have some of those local leaders and activators in the community and have done some of those engagement activities. So we'll look forward to giving them this to follow even further in the future. Trustee Stokbrand.
I'm a liaison to the Bike and Ped Safety Committee.
Yeah.
Can we have like 8 copies of this? Do you have extra ones?
Yeah, the county printed 25 copies for each municipality.
Okay.
So,
Oh, well,
yep.
there you go.
I'd like to take at least 6, 8.
You can fight with Bart over it.
Okay.
I'll-
We'll work out a
the
deal.
Distributor of copies.
I guess that was, if I may, one of my questions was, what's your take on using a committee like a Bike Ped Safety Committee as one of the groups to reach out to? I mean, obviously you could use PTOs at schools, but I guess what's kind of interesting too is at the same time we're working on a greenway plan.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it could be confusing for residents. How would you go at doing those two things at the same time and making it clear to residents? What's the point? What's the difference? Is there a difference with a distinction or not?
Yeah. No, I mean, if you're talking specifically about like the school zone,
I guess, you know what,
or
we're doing an
engagement.
RFP for a greenway plan.
Okay.
And I guess to me, my understanding is that's going to focus on neighborhood streets. This does not.
Right.
This is more capital Oakland.
Yeah. I think you just clear communication and not be purposeful with your communication to the public so that you're not crossing stream activities. I mean, techniques I've seen to separate, you know, using different logos or color schemes that make it clear that it's a separate project or initiative would be my suggestion. And then like, I think using, you know, committees is a great idea to lead these initiatives. What's going to be important is finding a leader in that group that is responsible and can keep people on track.
And the SS4, I mean, you SS4, that's a matching again, right? We'd have to match 20%.
Yes, that is, but the 20% can be matched with what US DOT calls in-kind contributions.
With what?
In-kind contributions, so essentially staff time and or expenses. You could, let's say you got a grant to do a demonstration activity that had flexible delineators. Those flexible delineators, you could purchase them, and essentially use that as your in-kind your local match component.
Someone check on us to see what we're doing? No.
I'm not sure what.
I see. This
Got
is,
it.
you know, we're right on it here, winter, spring 2026. So
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
I had a question, in the agenda packet on page 58, you list some of the grants and funding opportunities that may be available. Do these all like from the federal level, particularly, are communities like Shorewood still getting funds like this? Is the government still giving awards for this kind of work?
Yeah, absolutely. They are. I mean, there's been some changes, as we all know, in the federal government, but yes, these programs, at the time of this publication, are still moving forward.
Thank you. Anything else? So we're not agendaed for a formal motion or anything like that, but we really appreciate your time and coming to us this evening.
Well, thanks for having me.
Okay. All right, moving on to 4B, North Shore Health Department lead coordinator presentation. We have Director Rowland. Oh, but we have somebody else in person.
Hi, I'm here. I'd like to introduce Brooke Miller. Sorry. Brooke's new to the team. She joined us in November, and I'm thrilled that she's here. So, Brooke, take it away.
Oh, thank you so much.
Is this in the packet?
So I'll tell you ahead of time, you have to talk into the microphone that's in front of you. And it can be a little. Okay.
Okay. Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, it's actually not for our hearing, it's for the recording
Oh,
for the
okay.
people that are online. So that's why.
Okay, good evening, committee members. My name is Brooke Miller, and I am the Environmental Health Specialist with the North Shore Health Department. This project focuses on reducing barriers to lead service line replacement by providing education and outreach, especially to high-risk households. Through a DNR community outreach grant program, we're able to prioritize residents who need additional support and help them navigate the replacement process from start to finish. By coordinating public health outreach with infrastructure efforts, we can better help protect the residents' health. So the foundational work for months 1 through 3, activities and deliverables have begun to prepare the targeted outreach. I was hired and onboarded to serve as a liaison for residents. Plain language outreach materials are being developed, and the lead risk assessor training was scheduled for January 9th through January 16th. However, the DHS sent an email canceling all lead hazard investigator classes, which is needed for my lead risk assessor state exam. They provided an estimate of 3 to 6 months until the classes would be available again. So I will apply for my lead inspector certification, and I'm working with my supervisor at this time to kind of decide what the best, course of action is at this time. So this slide introduces the outreach approach framework. The purpose of this framework is to focus outreach where health risk is the highest in the community, rather than using a one-size-fits-all approach. This relies on the existing lead service line inventory data, and it's designed to protect vulnerable populations. Risk was determined using 3 public health indicators. First, we considered material of the service line because lead lines carry a higher exposure risk. Second, we considered whether a child under the age of 6 was in the home, since younger children especially are a vulnerable population. And third, the verification status of the service line was considered because unconfirmed information increases the uncertainty and the need for follow-up. So this approach matters because it allows outreach to be epidemiological in nature, which helps ensure that the village resources are used efficiently and effectively, and provides a clear and defensible public health rationale for prioritizing certain households. The goal of this work is to use the village's existing lead service line inventory and other resources to prioritize households at the highest risk for lead exposure. This allows outreach and education efforts to be focused where they have the greatest public health impact. So ensuring residents receive information that is relevant to them includes general ed education, which would be separate from project-specific information. This would include requirements of kind of what they need to do during the project, and this would help reduce confusion. While the framework would remain consistent, the messaging would be tailored by project and household risk area level. This allows Shoreward to use one approach across multiple projects while still addressing each project's unique needs. To support the success of those involved or affected by the Southwest Area Lead Service Line Replacement Program or the Lake Drive Lead Service Line Replacement Program, the outreach framework will be used to guide high-risk households in this area, and project-specific communication will focus on resident responsibilities to ensure required follow-up actions are complete. Potential outreach methods include direct resident engagement, written and digital materials, community meetings, and ongoing relationship building tools. Messaging is informed by EPA recommended topics and focuses on lead health impacts, understanding lead service lines, available financial assistance, and steps that residents should take to protect their health. Using multiple methods helps ensure residents receive a clear, consistent information and message in ways that works best for them. This list is intended to be preemptive and may be adjusted based on community needs and feedback. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board?
So when do you expect to make your first resident contact, or have you?
So one of the first resident contacts, and I think this can come in a lot of different forms, kind of like I was talking about the outreach materials. These can be through mailers or postcards, but me and Leon kind of spoke about having them ready around mid-February and then going out for that first project. I will also be doing, I have kind of like deliverables that are due. So by the end of month 4, which would be April, I'll have to do a dry run of my toolkit materials, and that's 13 households. So, yeah.
And so what a bummer about the state, huh? How critical of a piece is this?
So it is a lead risk assessor training. It doesn't stop me from doing my job, and I have plenty to do to help this initiative get off the ground. So it's not 100%, you know, I can't do my job if I don't have it, but it's something that I'll be working on. Unfortunately, the one place that did give this training is currently no longer accredited. So I can go out of state. We're working on it. We're working on it.
Thank you.
There's a silver lining that I'd like to mention. Because Brooke has gone through 2/3 of the training and I'm a lead risk assessor, she can work successfully under me. So together we can offer the whole package. And I completed this training 2 years ago because the turnover in the position, and not Brooke's position specifically, but folks who are trained as lead risk assessors, it's kind of a long and expensive process. So after 2 people went through it at the North Shore Health Department, I decided to do it myself. So we're in good shape.
And I'll just reiterate, I am applying for my lead inspector certification. So I'll be taking a 75 question state exam for that certification because that's all I can do at this time. But we're, like Becky said, we're in good shape.
Thank you. Trustee Arndorfer, did you have a question?
I don't know. Thanks for the work.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Hey, any more questions?
Well,
Well, thank you guys so much for your attention today, and I'm so glad to be here.
We're glad that you're here too. We're excited about it. I feel healthier already.
I'm glad.
All right, moving on to 4C, accurate appraisal updates on 2025 property tax bill assessments.
Sorry.
Fall
No,
risk.
everybody sees me walking up and they get excited because we're going to hear financial information. It's kind of like I'm the Super Bowl halftime show for the board.
Right?
So this agenda item is to provide informational update regarding assessment errors that were identified on the 2025 tax billing. A limited number of parcels were overcharged due to assessments that were too high. There had been people had asked for reductions in their assessment, went to the board of review, and the board of review lowered the assessment, and it didn't make it to the assessment roll, which is one of the main sources for creating the tax roll. Looking at it, the overcharged parcels was about 18,000 in total for 6 parcels, 4 of which were due to the assessment error. One was what I call a classification error, and that it was Milwaukee County, which doesn't pay tax, real estate taxes. And then the last one was kind of a flow through $300 charge that the state had asked us to charge, and the person had already sent the payment to the state. So what we've done was either rescinded or refunded the tax bills. So that was the first step. The assessor completed required corrections and notifications. We will continue with our countywide settlements as normal. And at a point in the future, we'll be filing forms with the state to cover the payments from the other taxing entities. The impact to us, the village, is $5,700 something dollars. Forward controls, Accurate will probably speak to some of those. In closing, taxpayers are made whole. The levy did not change. Financial impact is manageable, and additional controls are now in place or will be in place. And from the board point of view, there's no action required by the board. Okay. Or any questions?
Right. So we did get the memo that states everything that you presented. So thanks for recapping that. That was then supported by an additional memo from the appraiser. So I feel like this is a really thorough discussion point, and I appreciate the transparency and the responsiveness to the board for information. Are there any questions? So this is not an action item. It is a presentation, but are there any questions or additional comments? Trustee Stokely.
So are we sure we've got everyone's tax bill accurate?
Well,
like if
that would go to the assessment. So the controls on that would be on the assessment. So I'll let you.
Sure. All right. And thank you for being here. My name is Brandon Roosh. I am the newly appointed statutory assessor for the Village of Shorewood, representing Accurate Appraisal. So yes, we did a thorough review of all of the Board of Review cases that came to in front of the Board of Review, all of the determinations, and then did a audit and a secondary audit of the assessment roll to ensure that all assessments were correct and all errors were captured. So to answer your question, yes, we did a thorough audit and a secondary audit to ensure that all errors were captured.
And I guess this seems unusual. I'm hoping it is.
It is, yes. It was a combination of software and user error. So it was solely on the assessment side. and the assessor side. We are taking controls and putting controls in to measure, to look at these items before we sign off and certify the assessment role going forward. We will ensure to look over any board of review cases, any county parcels, any city or village owned parcels, and any state owned parcels as well, to ensure that there's no assessed value for those. And then we will verify with the village as well, the clerk and village manager, to ensure that we have done those thorough audits as well.
Are we the only ones who had this issue?
So no,
You're the assessor for many municipalities.
we do have 113 municipalities we contract with. Currently we do have, this is our lowest year yet of correction of errors, but there are correction of errors on any given year. This year so far, we have 38 correction of errors across our 113 municipalities. Unfortunately, a good number of those were here in the village of Shorewood. But that's why we are going to take those measures to ensure that the human side of things can, if there are mistakes, it is covered.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions that board may have?
I don't think so. You've been really thorough.
All right, perfect. Well, I appreciate your time.
Thank you. That concludes special order of business. And so I would like to move to the consent agenda and ask for a motion to approve the consent.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by trustee Kudo, seconded by trustee Arndorfer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Oh, did we do discussion? Is there any discussion? Okay, so we can move on. There are no public hearings tonight. Citizens to be heard. Are there any citizens to be heard on matters not on the agenda this evening? Yes, Mr. Sorensen? It's not
for me.
not for you.
That's good. Good evening. Jay Sorensen, 1916 East Kensington Boulevard, Shorewood, Wisconsin, 53211. I have a letter that a resident who rents and who lives in an apartment and is currently parks in the North Oakland parking lot. She wrote a letter that she asked us to post online through social media, and she also gave me permission to read it to you tonight. And I timed it. It's at 3 minutes. I moved to Shorewood in 2015 and was not informed of the significant parking challenges associated with renting here. It took considerable time to get on the wait list for the Oakland Avenue parking lot, which was the only way to avoid moving my car every 2 hours, managing snow emergencies, or accumulating tickets. During the period I was forced to park on the street, I spent hundreds, possibly over $1,000 on parking tickets due to long work hours, exhaustion, and inconsistent enforcement times. Once I regained access to the Oakland lot, the financial and emotional stress of parking disappeared. Shorewood's parking policies also make maintaining personal relationships difficult. Overnight parking is limited to 20 nights per year. Early on, my partner had to go to the police station and pay simply to stay overnight. In 2019, a family of 2 small children moved into the apartment next to mine. Because the building has wood floors, the noise was constant. I regularly heard domestic violence and child abuse occurring. When I attempted to address the situation with the male tenant, I was threatened. The atmosphere in the building was scary, and I would often avoid using my kitchen, dining room, and living room to avoid hearing the violence. Multiple neighbors called the police repeatedly, and thefts from the basement storage became common. Due to COVID restrictions, eviction was not possible, and many tenants moved out as a result. The situation only ended after repeated police involvement and fines. The family eventually moved out, but the damage to tenants had already been done. It appears the village board is more focused on the optics of affordable housing than the reality of rental life. I've never experienced outreach from any candidate or trustee. Apartment buildings are consistently ignored despite being home to a large portion of Shorewood residents. I purchased a condo in Thiensville and will be leaving Shorewood soon. When comparing properties, I was shocked by Shorewood's property taxes. A 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo priced at $218,000 carries 2025 taxes of $3,667, while comparable properties in Thiensville are $1,660 less. This raises serious questions about affordability and value. Not a single village board member rents an apartment that has no parking. I do not believe the board understands what it means to live paycheck to paycheck, or the cumulative impact of parking costs, housing instability, and rising taxes. For many of us who did what we were told, went to college and worked hard, the promise of stability has been eroded by economic crises and policies that benefit the wealthy. The inability to plan for my future due to unpredictable expenses is frightening. Continuing to live with the financial uncertainty created by Shorewood's parking policies would significantly reduce my quality of life, and that is why I'm leaving. So the sale of the parking lot has caused this resident to leave the village. And I think that's unfortunate, and it was preventable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sorensen. Are there any other residents who would like to be heard? I don't believe there's anyone online. All right, thank you. We'll close that item and move to new business. 9A, consider award of contract for streetlight replacement program phase 2. This comes to us with a recommendation to accept the lowest bid and has been recommended by our contractor. So is there a motion to approve?
I moved to the award of a contract for the Phase 2 street lighting replacement to MP Systems, Inc. in the amount of $1,742,957.13.
Second.
Motion by trustee Ursink, seconded by trustee McGovern. Any discussion? Trustee Ursink?
Have we have any experience in the village working with them? Thumbs up. I know. Okay, fantastic. That's all I need to know.
Trustee Stokebrand?
And at what point would we look at what specific fixture we're going to order at this time?
The project that we issued and the contract that you're approving identifies a specific fixture, and that is the exact fixture that was used on phase 1. If at some point the board wishes to change that, that'll be a change order to the contract, which will likely come with some additional costs.
Any way to know how much that would be?
No, not without an identified fixture.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. 9B, consider parking and citation management system. This comes to us from the Finance Committee earlier this evening with a recommendation to award the contract as recommended in the memo that we received. Trustee Stokebrand, as chair of the committee, is there anything you'd like to report?
I would just, first of all, I want to thank again Captain Santiago for his work on this. It's important for us to have a good system. It's important for the police to have a system that's functioning and that we're using technology that's available to us. And I think that this recommendation meets the requirements. It sounds like we'll be ready to go with the system when the AIM contract ends, which of course is important. And it should reduce some staff time on Monday mornings when I believe they would do mailings for the people on the CSOs on the street will still have the same responsibilities with the envelope on the dash or on the windshield. But the job for the staff at the police department on Monday will be lesser because some of the follow-up mailings will be done automatically. And that's a notable, significant improvement too, I think, for staff. And there is the option of going with the curbside management if we decide to do so in the future. It sounds like we don't know when our new Jeep will be coming, but when it comes, we will have the technology installing it.
Excellent. Thank you for that update. Any questions from the board? Anything you would like to add, Captain Santiago? Okay. So at that time, I will take a motion to approve. Yes.
I move to recommend the approval of a new parking and citation management system solution provided by TS Systems for implementation in April 2026, with the option for including a curb management solution, quote unquote, metered parking in the future.
Second.
Motion by trustee Stokebrand, seconded by trustee Arndorfer. Any further discussion?
We did approve this 2-0 in committee.
Good to know. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Captain. 9C, consider residential neighborhood streetlight settings. So this is kind of a follow-up item to get direction from the board. I think I requested us to revisit it.
Correct.
So as a recap, the current settings are a 1 on residential streets for the intersection and 8 on the main streets.
Correct.
I asked that we consider changing the residential streets to a higher setting for, or I guess it could be 8. It's coming back to us with a recommendation to consider level 4 as a setting. Is that an accurate recap?
Very accurate.
Okay. I think I know this memo by heart now,
Yes.
which I really appreciate. So at this time, I would like to, that's what we're asking the board to consider this evening. And so I would open it up to the board for either questions, comments, or a motion. Trustee Ursink?
Somebody that lives in phase 1 and interacts with these lights at night, my first inclination when we started this was the 148 model. After living in it now for, several months, I do believe level 1 is too dim for streets. And I believe that, I would be interested in looking at level 4 or anything in between. I just don't believe level 1 is sufficient enough for the power on side streets, and would definitely be leaning towards raising that. And the 4 would probably be the highest that I would go with that.
Yeah, and I will say that just to underscore that the reason why I'm asking the board to consider this is for safety reasons, that this is a lighting system for the purposes of safety. And even in the presentation earlier this evening, safer streets were associated with light. So I just wanted to underscore that that's why it's coming forward. I don't want to go ahead and just make a motion right off the bat. I want to open it, but I appreciate Trustee Ursink sharing his position. Trustee McGovern?
Yeah, I also live in the, the section that's been done already. I have a corner house, so I have a 4 that's right by my house. And I would just prefer to keep it as it is, 148. I think that's kind of a good compromise. We've had, of course, a number of emails from people telling us that they're too bright, that they would prefer them to be not so bright or have a shade put in. I haven't had anyone tell me that the 1s are too dark. I feel safe walking around at night, walking my dogs or running on the side streets where they're set at 1 and 4 for intersections. Having the 4 at the intersection, I feel like does give that extra level of safety for people crossing the street, people driving. So I would just prefer to keep it as is for the remainder of the village at the 148 settings.
Thank you. Trustee Stokebrand?
So were they all put in, how were they installed in phase 1?
At 8.
At 8. So we've gone around once and you have to go to each light,
Mhm.
and you've changed the ones that were 8s to 1 and 4 now.
Mhm.
So now the question is, do we want to go back to those individual lights again a second time? Because they all came from the factory at 8.
Correct.
So do we ask staff to go again and change the 1s to a 4?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it's nice to get some data. I mean, we all have our personal feelings. Do we have the complaint data, or have there been a lot of specific complaints? My 1 is not enough.
Not really.
I've had one email.
Yeah.
I had 1 email. Okay,
Mhm.
then I guess I would support keeping it the same. I have another question about the shields, but
I also brought show and tell items.
you brought show and tell.
I brought show and tell items. Right. I brought an old street light, a new street light, shields, and lenses.
We will certainly make.
Easy.
Can we
yeah.
turn all the lights off so we can really know?
I don't have
Anyway.
480 volts in here. It might to turn those lights on. So I could probably put my socks on the carpet. Maybe that would work.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Mhm.
so I'll support keeping what we've got. I think staff has spent enough time. We were told that we can't. The attorney opined that we shouldn't try to meet each individual's needs, and now we seem to be going back to try and. I will support 148.
I'd be supportive of going to 4.
Support 1-4.
Mhm. I do think that we should take advantage of the demonstration, or the,
Sure.
Can I
if
just have-
it's relevant to this before we, and then I do think that we should take a vote just so that it is on record and resolved and we move forward.
Can I just ask a question about the shields? Are we out of shields still, or are we have some come in, or for anybody?
I have phase 1 side street ones. I have about 10 of those left.
Okay.
Lake Drive ones, tentative release date is the 28th of January is when they're supposed to ship.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll see them first or second week in February.
And my other question relating to this is, are we letting residents know that they can, like, it's been in the village manager's memo, if you want a shield that will deflect some of the light from the fixture into your house, you can call Public Works and request one. Have we let people know that this option is available, or for some reason are we trying to not do that, which would be a bad look?
No.
Okay, so we need it in the manager's memo or on Facebook. We need something prominently.
It has been, and I know also Matt McGovern has also posted in multiple areas.
Okay,
about that.
would Rebecca put it at the top of her memo, perhaps?
We can follow up.
Okay.
And anybody that calls, we offer it as a solution.
Well, I'd like to be, so. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I've seen it.
So this is shield that gets installed.
They're all the same.
The dark sky fixtures. That is the side street.
But how are they different? Okay. Meaningful ones.
In the phase 1 area, 1 single element. That shield just covers this. Lake Drive. Yeah, so the one that.
Right.
It's a bigger.
$30 Lake Drive.
Lake
Mhm.
Drive, the only feet project that has the 3 units rather than Wilson.
Are we? How many of these shields are we?
I heard one.
The 20
For like,
base?
yeah, for all like the side streets, point lights.
Increasing that purchasing amount would us or
If we take it out of.
Light.
So all the corner lights So this single one element is all side street.
Only ones with the 3 Lake Drive.
All right.
Mm-hmm. But this is the one that we use.
Yeah, so this is the one that we used to have.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So,
Okay.
like, you can just see like how faded they are.
Mhm.
Faded, you mean?
Mhm.
How this color,
Yeah.
The
so this
glasses?
is a brand new one. Also a house side shield. Like this type. Didn't have lights like. So we had regular full lenses, lights.
Mhm. Thank you.
This will not fit.
Right.
Can I ask a really,
Why not?
I have actually about purchasing. For
A
what?
fundraiser.
Artists,
Revenue.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, like people just,
have also
yeah.
phase one. Drop it off in your front yard, but once it's no longer our responsibility.
Is there, what's the,
Are we gonna
With
have
all
one made
due-
into a, like, old-
We might be, while this is, I find this interesting,
Yeah.
just for the sake of time.
I'm
if we
done
could-
at the end of scope. I'm
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's fun to bring it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I-
We're
I do have
hands-on learners.
One last question. The new LEDs, what I've heard is that some of the complaints that they're too bright is because they're new and much brighter than the old faded ones. How long are these LEDs expected to last, and how long until they kind of start to fade?
There is a formula for it. I'd have to look it up, but there is a degradation time over a certain amount of years that the light will start to fade. It's built in, the manufacturer knows that. LEDs take a while. It's a long time. So it could be 10 years before it's maybe any sort of noticeable degradation that you would actually see.
Okay.
And probably by that point, I've replaced it. I've probably replaced it. Like within 10 years, like odds are some of the LEDs are going to burn out.
Right.
It's just an inevitable fact. And then I'll just have to put a new element.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Well, I would like to make a motion to adjust the residential lights to 4 on those streets.
Second.
Motion by President McKay, seconded by Trustee Ursink. We've had discussion. Is there any additional discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
So it fails 3-3. Thank you, everyone. Let's
Thank you
see.
for the props.
Yeah. Mhm. Maybe for,
Close.
in terms of the fundraiser idea for
I'm sure we're talking
Trustee
about this
Curto,
again sometime
it can
soon.
be in the Friday update.
Okay.
All right, 4D, consider updated job description for assistant to finance director or assistant finance director. So this comes to us from the JPNL, no, finance?
Yes.
JPNL.
JPNL committee earlier this evening, where I believe you took a vote and there is a recommendation to accept the updated job description. Trustee Arndorfer, as chair, would you like to, or as acting chair, would you like to give a report?
Yeah, I mean, just real briefly, the changes were made for a variety of reasons. It's shifting some of the utility bill work, I believe, to DPW, which I think makes sense from an efficiency perspective. The name change is to make it more appealing to applicants so they don't, fall for the assistant to joke. Sorry. And then also, this person will do more budgeting work, shifting the utility bill work frees up time for this person to do more budget work and act as a liaison between Village Hall and our finance director. So all in all, Trustee Stokebrand and I agreed it made sense, approved it, and be happy to make a motion unless
Please.
people have any question for the assistant village manager.
Does anyone need more information before considering a motion?
I was just going to say, I believe, and Nicole can correct me. So there's all these options, and option 5 is kind of what we're shooting for predominantly.
Yes. So what we're looking at right now with updating this job description and moving utility billing to Department of Public Works would fall under option 5, which is hiring new for the finance department and then moving utility billing. We did come with all of these options just to show you all that we are trying to see what else is out there if this were to fail, if it's a little bit too extensive on DPW for some reason and we need to kind of go a different direction, or if we don't get any applicants that would be a good fit and have to go a different direction, we do have options to fall back on. But for right now, we're planning to move forward with utility billing going to Public Works and hiring for the finance specialist.
All right, thank you. I would entertain a motion at this
All
time.
right. I move to approve the proposed revisions to the assistant to the finance director job position, that description.
Second.
Motion by trustee Arndorfer, seconded by trustee Ursink. Further discussion? I appreciate all the thought, and I think this puts us in a stronger position. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. That concludes new business. So moving on to item 10, reports of village officials. For village president, I attended the ICC meeting last week, and we had a special presentation by Director Samaya Clark of the Office of Equity in Milwaukee County. She presented a variety of tools that they have online that are free and accessible to municipalities. And I actually think it might be worthwhile having her come and do a short demonstration for us as well. We also had a presentation from the Wisconsin Environmental Justice Initiative, and that is a group that is trying to launch a class action suit, not structured similar to the opioid settlement against big oil, big fossil fuel companies to reclaim damages to local municipalities. It's pretty ambitious. There is a report that I forgot to bring, but I will forward it. I only have a hard copy, and Rebecca can share it. And that concludes my report. Reports of village trustees. Yes.
I attended the Shorewood School District Task Force meeting last week. It's the long-term sustainability task force on funding and configuration of the schools in the district. There's a number of meetings, I think 5 more, and then the idea is that the task force will make a recommendation to the school board. And, I found it to be a real eye-opener, even though I follow things like state funding pretty closely. One thing that really stood out to me was that Wisconsin per pupil funding is down $3,600 since 2009. So even just in recent years, a pretty big cut due to, funding not coming from the state and inflation. So inflation's kind of eroded what little funding we have. So I'll be continuing to attend those. And then as liaison to the Conservation Committee, another reminder that the film festival is ongoing. They had the first one of the 3 last week on soil. On Thursday, the 29th of January, there's one called All Too Clear, subtitle Why is Lake Michigan So Different Than 25 Years Ago? And then Thursday, February 12th, really hot topic, Saving the Dark. Why should we think twice about lighting the night? Both films will be followed by a panel discussion, and they're always really good events to be at the library, 6 o'clock each.
Thank you. Other trustees? Trustee Stokebrand?
I went to the movie about dirt. It was excellent. And it was well attended, the Conservation Committee movie about soil. I also was at the Parks and Public Spaces Committee meeting. They're working on their 2027 initiatives. They continue to and may be proposing an ordinance change that would, I don't know if it's right, move public spaces into parks instead of 3 subcommittees. I think that was Tyler's initial, when we put bike and ped together with parks, and then we ended up with another subcommittee, a 3rd subcommittee for public spaces. And I think they're finding it not that functional. So you might see something coming from them on that. And they had not yet seen the Greenway RFP, so I'm sure they'll be. Did that move through committee tonight? Okay. Oh, I don't think they had seen it yet. Anyway, they were going to get a copy. Yeah, later. Okay. And that's it.
Thank you. Other trustees? Yes.
So we've got the Shorewood Chill coming up on February 7th. The ice captains are working pretty diligently on trying to get the ice ready. It's been a challenge this year. We've had problems with our tarp and water leaking out of the tarp. And then just the erraticness of the weather has made it really tough to kind of keep the conditions of that rink going. But it always seems to work out for the most part. So hopefully February 7th will be this year's Chill event at Lake Bluff. We continue with the Shorewood Winter Farmers Market, and that has just been like a huge success. We see just constant traffic from 9 to 1 come through those doors, and it's really a really wonderful thing to see, and just a fun space to be in. And if you have not stopped in yet, definitely give it a chance. Come out and check it out. There's even been some discussion. It's like kind of a trial run for us this year, so we thought the January and February would be good. But all the vendors, residents have asked that we try to push it through March as well. So we're in discussions of trying to extend it for 1 more month. But it's a lot of fun. It's been great, and I think it's been a fun addition to the community. Also, looking forward towards our bid meeting in February. Mr. Sorensen has asked to come in and talk to the bid board about the parking lot on Oakland. And so if any trustee wants to come in and listen to Mr. Sorensen, speak about that lot, or speak about the benefits of affordable housing in the community, the floor will be open. I will be in attendance.
Date and time again?
I think it's February 17th. I will double check and send that out to you.
Thank you.
Dan and I are at the we're this part of the panel for the 3rd Conservation Committee film.
Yeah, thank you in advance. All right. Anyone else? That reminded me, Metro Market this Saturday, I think, is they're giving a check. It's a donation thing. Did everybody get the email, or was it just me? All right, I'll forward it to everyone. So they're having an event. They have a fundraising partnership across the company, and this store raised a really significant amount of money, and they're presenting the check to the partner at noon, and I'll circulate all the information.
Did we win a prize?
No, it's all about the store. So thank you. All right, village manager, any reports? No. All right, moving on to future items of consideration. We have 2 this evening. Consider ordering 2,200,000 LED lights on the street lights going forward for phases 2 through 5. That's brought to us by Trustee Stokebrand. I'll hand it over to you, keeping in mind that the motion on the floor is to whether to send this to committee for consideration, not whether or not we support the outcome of that. Would you like?
So I met with Dan, and he did research and found out that the lights are available at 2,200 the ones that were put in phase one. And so we could apparently still get them. And it is a distinction that the Conservation Committee noted was important. If we can do it, it's more amber, it's less white. It seems like a good direction to go moving.
Thank you. So would you like to make a motion?
I move that we discuss ordering 2200K LED lights on the streetlights going forward for phases 2.
Second.
All right, motion by trustee Stokbrand, seconded by trustee McGovern.
Just a request that it actually comes to the board versus committee, since we've been handling the discussions on the lights at the board level.
Yep.
Unless there's
Thank
an
you.
objection.
So it would be coming at committee of the whole. Thank
I
you.
think time would be of the, since we didn't have an early January staff holiday, so.
All right, any discussion?
As a matter of clarification, so we're talking about ordering lights for phases 2 through 5 that are different from lights that were used in phase 1. Wilson,
Capital, no.
okay, Wilson, like,
Yeah, because your question,
my question
yeah,
Is
came-
separate, yeah.
was born of
of this one,
This.
yes.
Yeah. So what your question right now is about clarifying what this potentially means, or
right, so that,
Yeah.
so if we did this.
Yes.
And it
eventually-
passed.
Eventually through the board, then we would have 2 separate types of lights. One in phase
Yes.
1 and another one in 2, 3, 4.
Yes, phase one Lake Drive would be 2,700, so probably like what those
Yeah.
lights are up there. So, and then phase 2, 3, 4, and 5 would be a different color.
And I understand the concern. We've already got different lights in places. Dark sky. It just seemed a way to make project. I think as you go through something that's this big and this complicated, you learn things. And it would seem to me that we would have learned from phase 1 and Lake Drive that there's significant resistance. And some of it you can just pass off as saying, oh, people just have to get used to something new. This is literally something we can do to the lights to make them more palatable, more tolerable. And it is what the Conservation Committee recommended in 2023. And I don't know why were the first lights not ordered it?
Because the Conservation Committee is for the business district, not parkways. Parkways are not part of that. It's
Is-
only for commercial zoning. That's commercial zoning code, not parkways. Village streetlights are not part of commercial zoning.
But that doesn't mean that you wouldn't
So-
apply that standard to the rest of.
well, we are out of scope. So what we're looking for the board is action on the whether to consider this to basically to bring this to a committee of the whole for discussion. And that's where we would pull out all of this information because there would be a memo with the background and all that.
And I guess the point is, if you would put the more amber light in the commercial zone, why would you not?
But
put it in the
if I may,
residential?
with all due respect, let's stay focused on what you're trying to accomplish this evening, which is to get this on committee. So, all those in favor of, is there any other discussion regarding this item? In terms of putting it, on a future meeting? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Nay. So that, was that 3-3?
Or 2.
A 4?
Or 2.
Okay, so the noes were Arndorfer, Kudo, McCaig, and Ursink. Okay. All right, motion fails. 11B, consider costs to change every light currently installed in phase 1, Capitol and Wilson Drive. Trustee Kudo,
Reviewing, removing,
withdrawn.
withdrawing.
I
Alright.
do have a total number in case you're
Let's hear it.
interested.
I would love to hear it.
Okay, so it's to replace all the lights on Capitol, Oakland, Lake Drive, phase 1, which is 594 lights.
Yep.
Based on a 2023 number for the Capitol and Oakland lights, about 1.2 million.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Thank you for finding that number, Dan.
You're welcome.
Item 12,
have a
motion to
couple-
go into closed session, please.
Are there any other items for future consideration?
No, we don't have any listed tonight.
And if they're not listed,
Correct.
I mean,
We can, but that's our policy.
We've got another future item.
Yeah,
What do we got here? More
No.
street lighting?
Robert's rules said we decide not.
mhm. Does anyone want to bring forward a future item? Trustee Stokebrand?
I'd like to move that we discuss in closed session 2 items. The LNA contract, we're 2/3 of the way through a new operating method with our finance department. I think it'd be good to have a discussion. And I believe we need to review Manager Ewald job evaluation for the last year. We usually do it in January. Did I
Really?
miss it?
Well, no, actually, you've never done it in January, but I'm sending it out to you next week.
Okay.
So you'll be doing it in February.
Okay. So it would be the LNA then. And it'd be 2.
Yep, that'd be me.
So
Mhm.
I move, 1 would be the LNA contract. Update in closed session about LNA.
Does it need to be closed session?
Well, yeah, because it's a contract. It didn't involve future negotiations.
This is why I usually ask for things to be posted.
No, I get it.
I don't know what would qualify as a con.
Yeah, we can look into putting it on a future agenda item, but we can't go into closed session unless it's,
Right.
if
Understood.
it meets the threshold.
Especially with this finance assistant director job. Be a good time.
Happy to put it on a future agenda item. Yeah. Right. We won't guarantee that it's a closed
I
session.
mean, you wouldn't do a personal job evaluation in public. So that's,
Right. We're doing the village managers as we do. So that's going to happen in February. So we don't need to take action on that. As far as a contract review with a vendor, we'll determine whether that occurs at a regular time or whether it's something that we need a special discussion about. Thank you. So I'm not sure that we needed an action of a motion, but if you'd like to make a motion and get a second, we can do that. Oh, was there a second? Yeah, is there a second?
We just go to finance.
I think the request was to go to the board because
for discussion.
for discussion or a review. And what I'm saying is that I'm happy to administratively work with the village manager to learn more about what we want to accomplish with that, and then whether it qualifies for closed session or whether it comes within, a cycle of business. Happy to bring it back. So I don't need direction from the board because I'm happy
So
to do
you're
that.
asking me, I withdraw my motion if that works for you.
I'm just telling the board. Great. All right, that closes. Is there a motion to go into closed session this evening?
I move to go in closed session to consider pursuant to Wisconsin State Section 19.851E to deliberate or negotiate the purchasing of public properties, competitive or bargaining reasons, require a closed session to discuss prospective properties for the new deed.
Second.
All right, this will be a roll call vote.
Trustee Kudo.
Yep.
Trustee McGovern.
Aye.
Trustee Stokebrand.
Aye.
President McCaig.
Aye.
Trustee Ursink.
Yes.
Trustee Arndorfer.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
All right, we are now in closed session at 8:55 PM.
It's been so long.
Good night. Thank you.
I'm not here. Want a bio break?
Bio break or?
Oh, bio.
It's not.
Arthur's already half out the door.
Yeah, yeah.
so-
We can, but it's not a long closed session.
You know, they hung the rug up in the hallway. You can go to the back hallway now.
Hold on. Stop recording.